No? Questions and comments? Resuming debate, the Honourable Member for Toronto Danforth.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I first of all want to compliment the member from Fundy Royal for this initiative, bringing this issue to the floor of the House of Commons today. As many members will know, over the last few months, a number of us have been seized with this issue, and we have been trying hard to work on a terms of reference that would be acceptable to all parties, that would allow us to have a special committee of the House that would move this debate forward on making sure that the security of our fresh water, the quality of our drinking water, all facets related to water in this country were dealt with in a proper fashion. And what was particularly reassuring for me today, and that's why I will be supporting this motion, is that all the members said from the party introducing the motion that this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue where we all have to come together, and we all have to figure out a way to make sure that the quality of our drinking water in this country and the laws to make sure that that happens, that sort of is in place, that law. Now, Madam Speaker, I think it's very important that we begin by acknowledging the work of Senator Grafstein in the other House. He has tabled a bill, in fact, I believe it's in second reading right now, Bill S-18, an act to amend the Food and Drug Act, Clean Drinking Water. And I would appeal to all members, their staff, and other legislators or other journalists or people, environmentalists who are interested in this issue, to get a hold of Senator Grafstein's bill, because the work, the research that he has done on this particular area, I'm sure that it will be acceptable to the point where we can move this bill from the Senate into the House of Commons, and together we can have an historic moment here where the Senate and the House of Commons works together in the interests of all Canadians to make sure that we have clean drinking water in every part of this country. Now, Madam Speaker, my colleague, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health, raised an amendment to the main motion a few minutes ago. And the amendment essentially talked about making sure that we are respectful of provincial jurisdictions. And I think this is a very important amendment that hopefully the member from Fundy Royal will accept, because it would be a tragic day in this House if all of a sudden we all couldn't come together because there was some unease by either the Bloc Québécois or other members who felt that we were trying to interfere with provincial jurisdiction. And Madam Speaker, that is not the essence of where this motion is coming from. We understand that the provinces guard jealously their areas of responsibility. And I come from a province, Ontario, where right now we have had a tremendous disaster in terms of water quality. The world knows about this. And we are very sensitive, because on an issue like this, we do not want to be sort of criticizing one another, because Canadians do not want a moment of criticism of each other on this issue. We must come together and we must resolve this problem, and any effort that we can put forward where the collective will of this House, all parties, can make better drinking water for everyone in the country, and maybe even a template for the world, then it would be an awful thing, through a few words, that this that this sort of spirit of goodwill fell apart. And so, Madam Speaker, I think it's very important that, that all members in the House support this amendment, that we respect provincial jurisdictions. It's no secret that traditionally I have had a reputation for being a passionate centralist and a passionate interventionist. This has been my political background. But on this issue, Madam Speaker, the issue is so fragile, the issue is so important, that I think that if we're going to create national will, then everybody is going to have to put a little drop of water in their wine. Everybody's going to have to sort of bend a little bit and park some of their traditional sort of philosophical views, because nothing is more important than the quality of our drinking water in this country, Madam Speaker. Now, the other thing that this will lead to, no doubt, Madam Speaker, is the fact that as a nation, we have a very special trust, not only for Canadians, but for the rest of the world. And I believe that this debate, I hope, will lead to the next part of this debate, which has to deal with water technologies. As a nation, we have some of the best water purification technologies on the planet, and we have a responsibility as a nation to take that technology, Madam Speaker, and make sure that those other parts of the world that are disadvantaged, that they get to share that Canadian technology. So I think the whole area of water purification technology will end up being another part of this debate, which is very important, because we cannot on this issue just think about our own constituents, our own country. We have to reach out to the rest of the world and share that technology. The other area, Madam Speaker, that eventually will flow from this will be water and our trade agreements. And make no mistake about it, Madam Speaker, over the next little while, we're going to have to deal with water and our trade agreements. And in 1995, Madam Speaker, I spoke on Mr. Nelson Reese's private member's bill banning bulk water exports. I supported his bill, but I think that when we get into this area of water, eventually we're going to come to branches around this issue that are going to be very explosive for us, very sensitive. But this House of Commons, I believe, must deal with these issues. And so I hope that the spirit of today's debate will carry on, and I hope even tomorrow, when our House leaders will get together, that we can finally put our special committee of the House on track, where we can go at these issues, not for one day like today, but in a constructive way, bringing in some of the best minds that we have, not only in our country, but in other countries, to talk to us about all facets around water. Now, Madam Speaker, there's one final point I want to make, and I touched on this point in my question to the Right Honourable Leader of the Conservative Party, and it has to do with water quality on Indian reserves. The minister responsible for Indian and Northern Affairs for our country has done a tremendous amount of work on this issue. And I believe, without causing any problems with our provincial or municipal friends, I believe that if we started working on drinking water quality with an area like reserves where we have constitutional jurisdiction, I think that this would be a great beginning. My own view on this would be that if we can have the best drinking water quality in the country on our Indian reserves, then that could be a template, that could be a model which other municipalities or provinces could voluntarily decide whether or not they want to, whether they choose or not to choose to pick up. And it would sort of save some of that potential for disagreement or interference. So I would appeal to the House that we urge the Minister responsible for Indian and Northern Affairs to move that dossier, to move that file on a fast-forward track where a jurisdiction we have nobody holding us back. Let's make sure that our reserves have the best drinking water in Canada, and then we can build from there. So, Madam Speaker, again, I want to congratulate the member from Fundy Royal for this initiative here today, and I hope that this will lead to a long and vigorous debate on all facets of the security of our fresh water in Canada. Thank you, Madam Speaker.